All right, good afternoon, everybody. David Paul here in the KHOU 11 Weather Center. Temperatures have already begun to plunge across our northwest counties. Brenham, College Station, Huntsville, all at or nearing the freezing mark right now. Wind chills have dropped into the 20s and teens in the northwest counties, and it won't be long until the Houston area sees the temperature plunge through the 40s into the 30s and down into freezing as we head just about towards sunset tonight. If you're about to go out, you got to be out this afternoon, this evening, take a coat with you. It is going to get cold in a hurry, and the wind associated with the introduction of this cold front, the leading edge of it, we've seen gusts to 35 and 40 at times. So temperatures dropping, winds gusting 30, 35, 40. It is enough to make it very cold and uncomfortable this afternoon and this evening. Gale warning is in effect for the coast. You may see wind gusts to 50 right on the beaches as the front comes into Galveston around 5 o'clock or so. This is the way Texas temperatures have moved over the past 12 hours. So this goes back 12 hours earlier. Amarillo was at 12 hours ago. Dallas was at 42. Houston was sitting at 44. That was earlier this morning. Watch how the cold air has inundated North Texas. Dallas currently, and here we are currently, is at 16 degrees. They've had a few snow flurries up in Dallas, very, very light. We're not expecting that here, unfortunately, for folks who want a little snow. Austin's now dropped to 28 degrees. Bush or Continental officially at 55 degrees, but that won't last much longer as the leading edge has reached just about to the northwest portion of Harris County. We'll take a closer look at our local temperatures, and here you can see the leading edge of that really Arctic air is right here in northwest Harris County. Tomball has dropped down to 44, so you're in the cold sector now. Tomball. Conroe's down to 40. Huntsville's at freezing 32. Brenham 33. Columbus is at 39. And there's the leading edge of the Arctic boundary just pushing in to northwest Harris County right now. Sugar Land's still at 57. You haven't gotten into it yet. You'll know at the moment it comes through. The wind begins to gust very sharply. Temperature change as the fronts come in. It's 18 degrees colder in Huntsville right now than yesterday at this time. Brenham is 17 degrees colder than yesterday at this time. So you can see the temperature changing. Winds are sustained at 23 in Sugar Land. So Sugar Land Airport's got the front. Conroe's got a sustained northwest wind at 18. Huntsville sustained out of the northwest at 20. Brenham sustained at 25. And if you look at gusts, they're really beginning to blow now. Sugar Land during the past hours had a gust to 33. Huntsville had a gust to 39 during the past few minutes. Tomball, a gust to 35. Houston and Hobby gusting 29, 28 miles an hour. So this is coming in with quite a breeze. And in fact, as I look at the camera's jiggling just a little bit here in the Galleria area. So it looks like the leading edge of that wind shift has now reached downtown and the Galleria area. These are current feels like wind chill temperatures. It feels like 19 degrees in Brenham. Tomball feels like 36. Conroe feels like 31. Huntsville feels like 20 degrees. So that's what is going to come across Houston and all of southeast Texas over the next hour or two. It's going to be a pretty good shock to the system if you're outside in this. We've gotten used to it. It's been very still all day today, but those winds are really going to make these falling temperatures feel quite uncomfortable. Wind chill, what is it? Well, the body normally keeps a little layer of heat around it. The wind literally blows that little layer of heat off. So the wind removes that layer of heat and it makes it feel much colder than the actual air temperature outside to your body. We look at all the warnings. Look at the blizzard warnings that have expanded now across the northern tier of states and the Great Lakes. So they've had winds gusting 60, 70 miles an hour and whiteout conditions in portions of the Great Lakes cities. And then, of course, these are all the freeze warnings across the deep south. Very unusual to see so much of Texas, Louisiana, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, the panhandle of Florida under freeze warnings. But that's what we've got as this Arctic air spills to the south. These are airport delays forecast for tomorrow. Are you traveling? We already have a few slowdowns up in the Great Lakes, but tomorrow, forecasting significant airport delays from Minneapolis to Chicago, Kansas City to Louisville, Charlotte to New York to Cleveland in particular, because whiteout conditions here with snow flying and wind, that will probably stop air travel at times in portions of Cleveland, Louisville, and Chicago. Boston forecasting moderate airport delays. But boy, you put airport delays like that across the big cities, these major hubs as we go into a holiday weekend, and you know, it won't just be delays here. You can get that domino effect where a delayed flight in Chicago means you end up with a delayed flight in Dallas, in Houston, in Phoenix or Albuquerque. So we'll be watching travel carefully as we head into this big winter, bitter cold Christmas for millions across the United States this year. These are current temperatures. Kansas City's 4 below zero. Let's see, Bismarck's 11 below. Dallas has dropped to 16. Now, computer models past couple days at this time on Thursday had Dallas in the low 20s. Instead, they're in the mid-teens right now. So it looks like this air mass is coming in a little colder and a little bit faster than models had first depicted. That's not unusual when we get these shallow Arctic air boundaries moving in. The models have trouble seeing it because the air is only about a few hundred feet thick, that cold air, and it's such a tight resolution the models can kind of miss that a little bit. That's just par for the course with these Arctic air masses. So future track temps. Here we are going into 3 o'clock with Houston dropping to 49. Galveston still hanging on to 60 by 3 o'clock. We get into 5 o'clock and that boundary pushes off the coast. So by 5 o'clock, Galveston, Bolivar, you'll get that north wind that will really be gusting 30, 40, maybe above that, especially across the bay. Current temperatures by 5 o'clock, Houston down to 37 with the north wind at 25. College Station will be down to 31, although they're already there. So these temperatures the models are putting out, again, maybe a degree or two too warm when the actual air temperature will be a little bit colder than this. That's at 5 o'clock. We go into 7:15, and at that point, almost all inland areas are expected to be at or below freezing. So that's when we can set the stopwatch on how many hours moving forward will actually end up being below freezing. We go into Friday morning. This is going to be a very cold morning. Spring 17, Houston 18, Pearland 19, Conroe 16. Not much change in the computer model forecast from yesterday, but I think the computers may be just a little bit behind the action here. This air mass is coming in just a degree or two colder than the models had anticipated. So we're watching for that. We go into Friday afternoon. We'll struggle to get near freezing. A lot of areas won't get above freezing, especially north of I-10. We may stay in the 20s, Conroe, Cleveland, Huntsville, and College Station. And then with that wind blowing, Friday morning, 7:30 in the morning, feels like temperatures when that layer of warmth on your skin is blown away. If you're out there with exposed skin, will feel like 3 degrees in spring, feel like 3 in Pearland, feel like 7 in Galveston, feel like 1 below 0 for Huntsville and Livingston. So that is dangerously cold. You don't want to be out and exposing any part of your body to those type of wind chills for any length of time. Like more than just a few minutes is enough. So plan on, if you have to go out, do it very briefly and then go back inside and stay warm Friday morning. And the wind won't completely let up during the day on Friday. It will stay breezy and cold all day long with wind chills in the teens, even going into Friday afternoon. We go into Christmas weekend. So we've got 18 for Saturday morning. That's Christmas Eve. I have to tell you that some of the models are coming in colder than that for Christmas Eve morning because of radiational cooling conditions. We're going to have the wind finally letting up. We're going to have clear, starry skies, that Arctic air mass in place, and it's possible we may be colder than that 18 degrees the models are putting out for Saturday morning, Christmas Eve morning. We'll struggle to get to 40 in full sunshine on Christmas Eve. Then we drop back down, and we've lowered our forecast temp for Christmas Day down to 21 degrees. That would be at Bush Intercontinental Airport. If we do drop down to 21, well, now I'm going to have to look at the records again. Is that going to be, okay, that would still put us at number 3 for the coldest Houston Christmases on record. 21 would fit right in here between 1989's 20 and 1990's 26, but we're getting ever so closer to that number 2 spot with the forecast models coming in now a little bit colder for some of these days. We look at, well, that's Thursday, that's today. We're already dropping, windy and cold as temperatures are beginning to plunge. We look at our 7-day. So again, 18 Saturday, 21 Sunday. Santa loves this. North wind, cold, just cruise that sled on in here, deliver those gifts on Christmas Eve night. But for you, you may not have the big red coat. So stay inside, stay warm, check on your family, check on each other. For the moment, these winds that are gusting to 40 have not caused any type of widespread power outages. In fact, we're not seeing anything except just normal little power outages here and there, normal stuff. We're keeping an eye on that, and we'll be live with a complete update on the weather information across Southeast Texas and across the state of Texas. We'll show you what's going on 11 News at 4 o'clock, the 411. We'll see you then for our next live update.